Welcome back, listeners, to the Sport and Society podcast. I am one of your hosts, Arisan, and I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, Wahida and Chelsea. We are here to talk everything sport and society related. What is the vibe today, ladies?
Hello, hello. It's co-host Chelsea, and I just gotta say the vibes are totally vibing. But I guess I do also want to say that time is just flying by for me. Like NFL kickoff last week, summer is sadly rapidly coming to an end, and all the drama. I don't know if you are aware, but like the Bachelorette last week, time is just flying for me. Q share if I could turn back time. I'm feeling overwhelmed. But I just want to do like a quick little reminder for our listeners or any first time listeners how the pod works. So we're going to break down 3 stories each week that's anything related to sports and society.
Hey everyone, it's Wahida here. And you know what, Chelsea? You bring up such a good point. Last week, because it was the NFL kickoff, we were really focused on football and some of our football themed predictions. Some we'll have to wait and see. Some we know we got wrong. So we're going to move past that. But today, our playbook will lean into some other sports that are happening this time of year, which, by the way, is my favorite time of year because of all the sports that are happening. I guess we'll also dip our toe into some of the latest celeb gossip as well. But before we do that, we do want to take a quick huddle and cover a few highlights from this past weekend in the sports world. In the NFL, since we're the Seattle Seagirlies, our Seahawks played the Broncos this week, and you know what? Not gonna lie, the Broncos had us in the first half, but we know our Hawks are a second half team, and we pulled out the win. So we're going into next week with a 1-0 record.
Go Hawks.
Go, huh?
And also in the NFL, the Chiefs won their first home opener with your girl, T Swift, looking fire flames in the stands. She did look really cute. That outfit was fire.
She looks so fucking good, you guys. Those boots, it was giving everything.
Everything. I like that Canadian tuxedo kind of set that she had too. Also, within the NFL, we also saw some painted nails on the field. This year's number one draft pick, Caleb Williams, debuted with a dope ass manicure. He didn't have the greatest of games, so we might have to go with another logo or something on his nails next week. Maybe reverse the colors, you know. Arena Sablenka, who won the final last year at the U.S. Open, won her first Open. And also really exciting, her winnings are equal to Yannick Sinner, who won the men's competition this year. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Amazing. And can we also talk about what a celebrity showing the U.S. Open was, living for all that content? Holy crap.
And they got those dang honey deuces again. I'm just jealous of everyone in attendance.
Yeah.
You mean the honey deuces?
The honey deuces.
The honey
if you're Wahida.
For me, it's a douce. I love that it's becoming such a, worldwide, competition that folks are just plugging into. But also, this one makes me really sad. Alex Morgan played her final game, and as we all know, she had a huge impact on equal pay for soccer. Yes, for soccer. And although she's officially retired from the sport of soccer, I know we're going to still see her around as an investor. I know that she tweeted, because I live on Twitter, that she found her calling in investing in women's sports. So we love that for her, and we love that for us.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The more you know.
All right, so that's the huddle. Today's playbook includes some WNBA news. As you all know, we are Seattle girlies, so we obviously have to cover the Seattle Storm and some other WNBA news coming out of the league as well. The Dancing with the Stars cast was released, so we obviously have to talk about that. And lastly, Demi Lovato has her directorial debut dropping on Netflix this week. So we're going to touch base on that little piece of news too. With that, Erison, kick us off.
I would love to kick us off, but I first have some beef I need to bring up. Because the beef of the week is, I don't know about anybody else, but my biggest beef is with all these damn streaming services and what it takes to watch freaking football. Oh my gosh. You also have to pay or give your firstborn child to be able to like have all the access. Or maybe I'm just cheap, but I was so frustrated on Sunday, like knowing that I have certain apps, but I don't have other apps. It's like 5 streaming things. I remember streaming was supposed to be easier, more accessible, and cheaper. And now you can even get all the games on cable. And even if you have cable, I don't even have cable. And so I'm like watching highlights on a screen that's not even a true game. I can't watch the Seahawks live because whatever the CBS access I couldn't get. And my beef is how they've made it so much harder for people to actually tune in and watch sports. And it's hard to keep track of who's got what rights to what games, which nights, and you want more people to watch the game, but all you really want is more money, and I'm beefing. That's my beef.
I will say,
I'm gonna join
one of
you.
my favorite all-time, magazines, not anymore so much, but back in the day was Cosmo magazine. And I'm gonna say in 2017 they pointed this out. They said that streaming was going to become a problem. They created a chart for the girlies so we can understand which ones we should have and why. And it feels like maybe we need an updated one of those for the sports. I know, Wahida, you sent over a chart and I was immediately confused. So I will join in on this beef with you.
I'm in on the beef. It wasn't even a chart. It was their video that the NFL put out with all of the different games coming up for Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Friday, and what platforms you could catch them on. And I, in response to seeing that video, was like, do you understand how ridiculous you sound? Because you just listed off like 8 different platforms. 8. Wild.
Yes.
For how
The
many
call
Yeah.
is
league,
coming
how
from
many
inside the
teams
house.
in the exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I was, you know, going to Fubo or whatever, one of them. I was like, you know what? Maybe let me just do this monthly service and let me just sign up. And then I went to go sign up and it was like $60 a month. And I was like, excuse like
A
60
month?
a month, right? I'm used to like
Okay.
7.99, 12.99, which I was ready
So
to commit for football season. $60 a month, I had to be like, I think I need to bring this up as a beef and let it stew a little bit before I maybe potentially do
don't
that.
even get don't even get me started. I had to get Fubo, so if you want,
Yes.
hop
Oh,
on. But
don't tell them.
Oh,
don't tell them.
No,
I
don't tell
had to
them. We're
get
not sharing
Fubo.
logins.
scratch the record.
I
Yeah.
had to get Fubo because I bought League Pass for the NBA so I could watch
Mm,
my Sacramento Kings play. But because Portland is within our blackout zone, I couldn't watch the Kings play Portland,
mm.
which they play quite frequently during the season. I think it's about 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and I have to watch the games, so I had to get on Fubo for that. And also the Mariners are on there, so I have it.
Wahida has it. Okay. She's more dedicated, obviously than all 3 of us. So I'll end my rant and my beef, but I know I'm not the only one. And we just feel your pain, and it makes it even harder. So I live for highlight reels and watching updates via my fantasy football team app. But transitioning to actually the playbook, beef over. Let's talk WNBA. You know I love me some basketball, and again, we are Pacific Northwest girlies, and therefore our team is the Seattle Storm.
What?
And if you're not familiar with the Seattle Storm, that is okay. We will get you familiar. The team started out in 2000, but they have won 4 WNBA championships. The first one in 2004, which definitely a brag. I was in attendance for that
Duh.
game.
You kicked off.
Of
You
course
kicked off
you
the.
were. Of course you were.
You kicked off the championship run.
Yes.
Look
So,
at you,
I mean,
Arisan. You
It's
kicked it
because of
off.
Arisan.
I was in the old Key Arena watching a Sue Bird, a Lauren Jackson, Betty Legs. Heck yeah. Little girl at basketball, Arisan lived for it, and that is my claim to fame. That was their first one, and then they have won 3 others, 2010, 2018, and then they won in the bubble in 2020. So not only are
Jeez.
we a fan because they're from Seattle, the Storm is just all around great team. Sue Bird retired the other year, and she's the GOAT. We also this year if you guys were tuned into the basketball for the U.S. Olympics, we have 4 Olympians on our team, not just U.S. Olympians. So we have 1 Team USA, 2 Team Australias, and 1 Team France. And the
From
Storm
this
has their
year.
from this year, yeah,
We
all
have
like
other
within.
Olympians on our
Correct.
team as well.
Oh, geez. Okay.
We are a
Yeah.
stacked team. We already
Mhm.
have our playoff secured. So we rep the Storm and the WNBA hard. But with that being said, this past weekend, Wahida and Chelsea were able to go to the game, and it was Chelsea's first Storm game. So she got to pop her little Storm cherry. Let me know, ladies. Chelsea, how was it?
Well, I got a chop, as you say. No,
It was baby's first
as
basketball game. Baby's first
Yay.
WNBA game.
put her on the court. Okay. No. You guys, this was so exciting. I do have to say, as kind of like our pop culture girly, a lot of what you just said left me with a lot of questions. I had no idea that we had won 4. It feels also like slightly disrespectful to the WNBA community, so I apologize in advance for that. But gosh, what an honor, what a blessing that I was able to go. I did get free tickets through my work. I did have a choice, and I actively seeked this one out since I hadn't been before. But I usually head down to the Climate Pledge Arena, which is where the Storm play, for hockey games, the Seattle Kraken. So I was strolling in a little late because this game lasts, 3 hours. So I thought I have some time. I have some time. Strolled in. No, those games go by quick. I mean, you're there, you're done, which in my world is more accessible. I'm more likely to go to something that there's a lot of action, it's fast, it's quick, and then we're done. We did the game. We don't need to be there for 3 hours, which no disrespect, I still love the Kraken. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it was a great experience. And I will say I ran into Wahida and I kind of felt like a loser because she's screaming at the court. And I'm like, you are speaking a foreign language to me. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, who are you talking about? How did you know? The only things that I could confidently say was like, oh, good rebound, or like fast break. And that's from like middle school PE to say the least. So, enough about that. I say 10 out of 10. They turned me into a fan. I'm going to try to dip these toes. It's becoming a foot podcast. I'll try to dip in a
We
little bit
promise
more.
Chelsea doesn't have a foot fetish. She just has
It's-
a foot fetish
I
metaphor. Her
swear,
foot
I
metaphor
swear on it.
fetish.
Yeah, apparently hands and feet is like my go-to for, that kind of stuff. But anyways, Wahida, since you're like an avid fan, I'd love to hear what was your experience? Tell us.
Yeah, Chelsea, the games do go by really quickly. You blink and you'll miss something. I feel like I was texting and I like missed some big plays. Thankfully, we were sitting close enough for us to see like the replay happening and all of that. So thankful for that. But it's always really fun. I haven't been able to make as many games this season, but shout out to DJ Trunks, who is the Seattle Storm DJ in-house. He was doing a little giveaway on Twitter, and I happened to throw my name in the ring, and I got those tickets. So shout out for free 99 because we love that. And the seats are really great. Oh my goodness, I was like right behind the Phoenix Mercury bench. So got to see all of them kind of like get really hyped behind the bench. But as you know, Chelsea, we played the Phoenix Mercury, and listeners out there, we have some of the greatest players in the league all on the Phoenix Mercury. We got to see Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner on the court, and they are like all stars, future Hall of Famers, Olympians in their own right. But real talk, the Storm just freaking dominated that game. They were on top, I feel like pretty much the entire game. And it reminded me of a tweet that Asia Wilson tweeted out from the Las Vegas Aces a few months ago when we picked up Nneka Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins-Smith and added them to our roster. And
It's okay, Chelsea.
she was
just nod your head. They're a great pickup. We love
They're
these
great
ladies.
pickups.
They sound like they are going to kill it on the court.
And they do. And Aisha was just joking. She was like, Seattle Storm, looking like a super team and no one's talking about it. And you know what? You know what? She is not wrong. Like,
Mhm.
they really are looking like a super team. I mean, if we talk about Arisan, you mentioned them being, um, them having like a very impressive Olympic medal count just from this year alone. We were one of the first teams to clinch our player of birth this year. And also at this game, Skylar Diggins-Smith set the all-time single season assist record, surpassing the GOAT and Seattle legend Sue Bird,
Oh
who's
my
held it for
God.
like the entire time she's been here. So pretty freaking impressive. And with that depth, we don't really get to see her often, but we got to see our rookie, Nika Mule, on the court at this game. So she got some playing time. We love her. This is one of the things I was yelling out. She's our Secretary of Defense. She's our little fashion icon. I
Oh,
love
stop it,
her.
Tom. You said, no, Tom, what you said, Secretary of the State or something? I think
Yeah,
you'd had a little
I
bit
was
of
too
beer.
excited. She could be
Well,
Secretary of the
What?
State.
What do
you
you know that I don't, again, what do you know that I don't know about this too?
you Chelsea, if you remember at the beginning, maybe you don't, but I feel like this was a little pop culture reference, is her visa didn't clear at the beginning, and so she couldn't
She came in
play. She came in, and then finally for like the one of her first games, she walked in with a shirt that had a picture of her visa
visa
that she
on
like
it.
got approved for, because it was like a whole thing that
Oh my God.
she couldn't get approved to play. So that might be for anybody that saw that on social media. This is who we're talking about. She also wears, like, I love her pregame outfits, like the bikini
Her,
top, what I call the Matrix eyeglasses. Is that
that's
the
Oh,
right.
right term for
oh
it?
Yeah,
God.
that's
Yeah,
right.
What the,
giving
was
the
she
giving
wearing that
Matrix.
skirt? Was she wearing that
Yes.
skirt
No,
too?
See,
was she wearing a skirt?
today or at the game, she was wearing the
No,
skirt
at the
and she had
game.
the, yeah, for the pregame, she had this pleated skirt and I believe it was like a bikini top, like a,
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
yeah,
Yeah, so
great
that's who
outfit.
that is. We'll bring it back to the
Maybe we'll
post.
post a pic of that outfit on
It
the
was a
Instagram so
good,
people can get a
it was a
visual.
good one. But I'm excited for the postseason. I hope we, make it really far. And as Asia Wilson says, super teams. But speaking of rookies, Angel Reese, our Chi-Town Barbie, she's had a great season this year, but she also announced that she'll be sitting out for the rest of the season due to a wrist injury. So that's a bit of a
Uh,
bummer coming out of the
Yeah.
WNBA, especially because we're so close to the end of the season. Would have been great to see just kind of how she would have wrapped that up. But, I hope that she gets some rest and has a speedy recovery. It's been a rough one for the rookies this year. I feel like Cameron Brink.
Yeah.
can
Go
I
ahead,
ask,
Chelsea.
was she in the running for is it rookie of the year? I know that's a movie,
Yeah.
but
No. So Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have been in the running for the rookie MVP. But what's funny is you ask either of them and they like could give two fucks about rookie of the year. Like it means
okay,
nothing to
okay.
them. But that's the big talk, is like Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, and everyone in the media is trying to pit them against each other, which is hilarious because they're like, no, we actually like each other. We don't hate each other. And on the
Yeah.
basketball sense, they don't even play the same position. So even when they're playing against each other, they're not like guarding each other, right? Caitlin's a guard, Angel is a post, and so it's it's all made up because and though it's bringing a lot of people to the game that has never watched the WNBA and
Cue
basketball, so
me. Yeah.
cue you. So hopefully that's bringing more attendance. But as long as it's all love, because I know also Angel Reese has just gotten so much hate all
Mhm.
season, before the season, even with the injury. The stuff I saw the announcement and what people were writing on the comments on social about everything, and they're just so mean and hateful to this talented young lady. So knock it off, haters. Stop being little jerks
Knock
and
it
racist.
off. Right? Like, yes, they're athletes. We watch them, but we're also human beings at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Like they step off the court and they're just like us, right? I can't do what they do on the court, but we
I
we
don't even want to
gotta we
try.
gotta do better. I
I don't
can
even want to
try,
try.
but you're gonna need a first aid kit. Like I'm gonna need a first aid kit if I try to do any of that. Um, yeah, anyway, like I mentioned, it's been a pretty rough season for the rookies, I think with injuries.
I am sad. I've been living for this Angel Reese content we've been served on our SAS TikTok. So I am sad, but maybe we'll get more from her since she won't be like so deep with the
She just
basketball. I
started
don't
a
know.
podcast.
Okay, shout out to that. We'll put it in the show notes, maybe IDK. But I would kind of like to transition us to a happier note, which is Dancing with the Stars. I'm just gonna be honest. I've never really watched the show. I can't even say I've seen a full episode, but that doesn't mean I'm not tuned in. They just released last week, if you didn't catch it on social media, who is going to be on the cast with the dancers. So the show will be premiering September 17th on ABC. And I just want to list out a few people and see if y'all know who they are. So a few people we've got is Phaedra Parks from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've got Joey G and Jen Tran from Bachelor Nation. So kind of wild to have two people from Bachelor at the same time. Tori Spelling of all people from 90210. And
That
then,
one was a
yeah,
random one, I felt.
it's
But
giving how were you not on before this season?
Wait, but I know you're still going through the list, but I have
Yeah.
always viewed Dancing with the Stars as people that go on Dancing with the Stars are people that are trying to revive their careers. So it's people that
Well,
you haven't heard for a while. But this year I think is different because we're coming off the Olympics, and so it's like a continuation. But maybe that's why they put some Olympians in there so people will watch it. But that's my hot take.
Well, and that brings us to a great transition because then the last person I was going to kind of point out is legend himself, Steven Nedorosik from the U.S. men's gymnastics team from the Olympics this past year. And I don't know about you two, but like I know where I was and he was pommel horse. He was pommel horse guy. I know where I was when I saw pommel horse take the stage. I mean, I was looking at the TV. I don't even know what time it was, but it's kind of dark, I feel like, in my house. And I looked at Sean and I said, this dude's got it. I don't know what it
Yes.
is, but he's gonna clinch it for us. I just feel it. I see it. He was so serious, like immediately tapped in. I think he fell asleep at one point, or maybe was just like resting. And I respect that. He knows his craft. And to top it off, and the reason I feel like I'm a little bit more tapped in is last year they had a new pro, Riley Arnold. She's a sweet angel cutie lady. And she was, kind of bringing in the Gen Z, if you will. Well, guess who she's partnered with? Pommel Horse himself. So I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for everyone, but I'm really rooting for those two. But I want to know, out of this list, out of these people I've talked about, is there anyone, I don't know, Wahida, that's kind of speaking to you?
yes, actually, well, okay. So first and foremost, with Pommel Horse guy, Steven, I didn't even see his pommel horse until after the fact. Like, I'm just on Twitter
Mm.
and there's all this commentary. There's a photo of the guy asleep before his competition. Like, I'm like, who is this person? Who is he? And then I finally watched it. I was like, I get it.
You
He's
get it.
Superman. Took off the glasses, couldn't see what the heck was going on. Loved it. But you know what? I don't think I remember this many active athletes on the roster in one season. Like Arisan, I feel like when the show started, it was like mostly folks who were trying to revive their career. And then it got to a point where it was just whoever was hot. And I feel like, they pull in whoever had a good season for whatever sport. But this year specifically, it's probably because of the Olympics. They have so many active athletes on the roster, which is really cool. I like that. So speaking of that, I'm very excited to watch Ilana. Is it Mare?
I think
She
it's
was the
Mayor, yeah.
rugby player for USA. She's had an incredible year. Like, not even just year, just summer. Her summer has been so wild. First, she got the bronze medal. I think the first that we've gotten as a country for rugby in a while. She also had that Sports Illustrated
Yeah.
feature. I think it was a cover, but definitely a feature.
Yeah, the online
Incredible.
cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then now this. So her TikTok is so
Hilarious.
funny.
Yes.
Her
Yeah.
Twitter is so hilarious. She's just really sharp and so sassy. I feel like she's one of the girlies, the sassy girlies, and I'm living for it. So I'm rooting for her. I want to see more of her personality, and I'm excited that we'll get to see that. I hope she makes it far. And also Phaedra Parks. I haven't heard. I don't really watch Real Housewives like that. I'm not plugged in, but I do remember her from Married to Medicine and The Traitor. And I love her in those shows. She's a lawyer, so she's also a sharp, sassy girly. We're
Oh,
gonna be rooting for her too. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of them go far in the show. But
Yeah.
there's Sam. Quick thoughts on that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I would say I definitely know where I was for the pommel horse
oh yeah.
guy. I was in the hotel room in Nashville with my girlfriends, and we were like had it on the TV, and I was like, "Who is this Clark Kent man?" And he steps up and he's doing it, and I was like, "Oh my, we just it was huge. It was huge." And then we tried to do some gymnastics in the hotel room, and turns out it's hard.
Uh, it is. It's freaking hard.
But, I'm gonna be honest, I probably will not watch one episode of Dancing with the Stars, so I will rely on you ladies to tell me how it goes unless I start to because we talked about it. But I will say Dwight Howard, who is a former NBA player, is on the roster, which is actually kind of hilarious to me because this dude is huge. Like when like people that are like really, really tall are doing like dancing, I also used to like have a mini crush on him and loved him when he played for Orlando in the NBA. And then I feel like his personality got bigger than his skill. His nickname's
Oh,
Superman.
exciting.
Though he's
Superman as
like,
well.
I guess the last couple, yeah, Superman. The
I
last
was gonna say
couple,
we got two.
the last couple years he's been going overseas to Taiwan to play. So
Oh.
shout out, I love Taiwan. Um, that's pretty cool. And it's a great Taipei is a great city. But anyways, him and again, I don't watch this show at all, know nothing about it, but Jen from The Bachelorette,
Oh,
just because I've been hearing some of the drama that's going down with it, and I just feel like she's been so wronged with everything and how they think that she was like a last minute ad because of all of that. So I just want to see her shine personally as a human
yeah.
being, and I think she deserves it. So for me, that I would say who I would like to see just like kill it and then just like take off and then find the love of her life because she has been so wronged by the toxic dudes. Like, get out of here. Mm-mm.
No thanks.
Honestly, I hope she has like an Ariana Madix redemption tour.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Just we see her
Do,
everywhere. I want to see her hosting things.
do you know
Like,
what we're
let's
talking
do
about
it.
Wait,
there, Sam?
I think so. Is that like the Tom thing
Yes.
Is it
in
Sandoval or Scandoval?
Scandal.
Vanderpump or was that right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Oh, look
A
at me
plus,
go.
Harrison.
Thank you.
A
I
plus.
know pop
Okay.
culture.
Woo!
Yeah. So
uh,
I would love to see that.
yes. Well, and to talk about like redemption tours, I think we're all about seeing girlies come on top when they've been wronged, and that is totally, I think, with this Demi documentary coming out, like Wahida, I know you did a little bit more research. I saw that you showed the trailer. What's going on there?
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this documentary. When I was on one of my Twitter strolls, as I usually am, I came across a tweet about Demi Lovato's upcoming documentary, and it's called Child Star because she was one, and it highlights a few actors and their experience growing up in the industry as, well, child stars. She interviews Kenan Thompson, who was part of the original All That cast on Nickelodeon. Drew Barrymore, who I think we all know from a wide range of things,
Everything.
Yeah.
everything. But I believe she got her start on ET as a kid. So
Even
at a
before
very,
that, yeah.
very young age, yeah. And then obviously she had to bring in Disney Queen, Raven Simone, who we all grew up
That's
with, and I feel like she also got her start on the Cosby Show, so maybe even younger. So she's been in the industry for a long, long time. And then she also, I believe, has Allison Stoner, who was also a Disney Channel girly and was in the Missy Elliott music video
yeah.
back in the 2000s.
Oh,
Yeah, do you remember
yes.
her?
Did she
Yes.
also was she in Step Up with Channing Tatum?
I think she was. She was the little
And
sister.
Cheaper by
Yeah,
the dozen.
Yeah,
And Cheaper by
yes,
the
yes,
dozen.
I love
yes, yes.
her.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, she's, speaking with all of them, I believe it's a documentary, not a docuseries. So I'll be interested to see how all of this kind of cuts in. But think one of the things that really struck out to me when I watched the trailer was that all of these actors are from different generations, right? There's such a wide age range, and they
Yeah.
all have these really terrible industry stories to share and their experience within that. And so, I'm really curious to see how this kind of plays out. I was also wondering, like, what was it like for Demi to go through this and record it and like direct it? I really hope it was cathartic for her and cathartic for the other guests as well. But it's
Yeah.
cool that she gets to share her story. It's really brave of her to share it with us on such a public platform. But I'm glad she's bringing along other folks too and sharing other stories as well. Oh, and speaking of other stories, my favorite, as you all know, Miss Jojo Levesque of Leave Get Out fame, is also publishing a story about her experience in the industry as a kid coming up. Because we all know
Oh,
she hit the charts and hit number one. I think she was the youngest singer to get a number one single at like 12 or 13 years old. So she has a lot to say, I'm sure.
Pre Justin Bieber.
Um,
Yeah.
Pre Justin Bieber. Yeah. And so, anyway,
well, I literally thought she was like 25 when I saw that like come out as a child. I was like, oh my God. And then I learned she was my age. No, that's not fair. It's not fair.
who's singing like that? Who's
Who
singing
holds the
about
vocal
that?
pipes? Who holds the pipes like that at 12,
We love the
13?
vocality. The vocality, she has
The
it.
Oh yeah,
vocality.
the vocal.
Baby, baby.
Oh, and Chelsea, you'll love this. She's also a Sagittarius.
Shut. I'm sorry. It all comes back to the Sagittarius.
Okay.
It all comes
Okay. But also, I feel like my little Virgo heart, we were very Sag heavy on that first episode. And
Hey, sorry.
apparently is now Sag heavy on this second episode. But shout out to my fellow Virgos because it's Virgo season, baby.
Okay, fair.
It's true. And all of these things are coming out during Virgo season. So the documentary comes out on the 17th. So does JoJo's book. It drops on the 17th as well. But Erison, I know that you don't think of yourself as a pop culture girly, but I know you love a good documentary. So what do you think? You think you're going to tune in?
Yes. Yes,
Ooh.
because we talked about it. And I feel like stuff like this is like important to know, to like know the predatory crap that's happening in the industry. And hopefully the more people know, hopefully the industry is changing. I know we're like semi different generations on like Disney stars. I love Keenan and Cal. I also was
Wait,
obsessed.
Keenan and Kale, right? It's not Keenan and Kyle.
Keenan and Kel.
Cal.
Oh, yeah, I was like, who
I
the
didn't
fuck
say
is
Kyle. Did I?
It
It
sounded
would sound like I
Kyle.
sang a song, Carl. Cal.
Hey, Cal.
Anyways, so and Raven Simone, I think she's great. I know I was really big into like even Stevens. I don't know if
Oh my
she's
God.
who also what's her name? She was also the voice of Kim Possible, which I was really
Yes.
into. She has her own podcast, and I know I've heard her talk about past Disney Channel star treatment. So I am just grateful for all this stuff coming out of the woodworks. So that's my take. I'll watch. I might not get a lot of references or some things around Disney Channel. Chelsea shared a song that changed her life, and I was like, I literally have never heard this song in my
No
entire
clue.
life
Send it
before.
on and on. If you are a send it on girly, drop it in the comments because I for sure was. I thought we were going to end global warming. I don't even know if it was a thing then, but I thought we were going to change the world when that came out. I'm almost positive I may or may not have put it on my MySpace. So it, deep cut. I don't know, Aristan. I'm kind of with you. I feel like this summer has been like a little heavy on the child stars, if I'm gonna be really real. There was that Nickelodeon special that dropped earlier. I haven't watched it, but it could be a good twofer, if you will, because but it seemed really dark. So I'm curious to know like what we learned from this Disney documentary, if there's some crossover between those two networks because there were all child stars involved. And maybe hopefully again, it was really dark on that Nickelodeon one. So hopefully this Disney one kind of brings us back into a lighter time and things have changed. I don't know. I'm I'm hopeful. Okay.
Things
We'll
have changed maybe
see.
these days, but like
These
not, I
days,
think the
that's what I'm
documentary,
hoping.
yeah, we'll see.
No, but that's what I'm hoping is that
Yeah.
because these people have spoken out, things have changed for kids now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think,
And we won't allow ourselves to go back because they've shined a
yeah,
light on this. Yeah, for sure.
I I hope. And the thing that's also kind of wild to me is that all of these things are coming out on the same day. So
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars premieres on September 17th. The Demi documentary comes out on September 17th. Did you say when
September
JoJo's
17th?
September 17th? So I know Arisan, you said you weren't gonna listen or watch Dancing with the Stars. Fine, whatever. I'm gonna have to tell my book club girlies the Kindle has got to be put down. I'm going to be checking out maybe all three. I'm not going to really fully commit to that, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. But I'm curious for our listeners. Please tell us. Are you going to watch Dancing with the Stars? Are you going to check out Demi? Are you going to check out JoJo? Let us know by dropping a comment either on our Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever. We'd love to hear it.
You know what? Maybe you have inspired me to check it out. But with that, I think we're going to wrap up today's episode. If you want to learn along with me, follow us on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, Apple, tune in on our Instagram and TikTok, and stay up to date on all things sport and society because we are for sure active between episodes there.
Yeah, and Chelsea, Ersan, I know I'll be tuned into the documentary, and I have to hold it down from our girl JoJo. So I'm definitely getting into her book some way, somehow. But anyway, that's all for us today. Tune in next week. But in the meantime, stay sharp, stay sassy, and we'll catch you next time.